I'll leave it running now.
I have nothing, guys. I have no jokes. I have no jokes for you guys. But I can sing. Never gonna give you up. Right. No. That's happening again. Right. Those first two speeches were brilliant. Well done to the men for those. Our next one is the groomsman, one of the groomsmen, and Katie's brother. Can we clap for Dan Christian, please? Dan, take it away.
Hello, I'm the brother. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's all I'm gonna say. So, yeah. So I was thinking about how to write a speech, and I had a look on Google for some jokes. I thought jokes couldn't be speeches, and it said to take something interesting about that person and deconstruct it. So for Ollie, it would be his tennis, his work, his looks, and for Katie, I do wonder why you married her sometimes. I think it's easy to see who wears the trousers in a relationship. It's not Ollie. Myself and Ollie spent the whole of a car journey once showing people in the cars around us photos of people. Yeah. Katie wasn't happy about it. Ollie definitely got put on the naughty step, somebody he's very familiar with. Yeah. And you're going to see yourself in there a lot more recently, but yeah. Katie has always had an interest in relationships. Starting with a One Direction poster she used to kiss goodnight. To Ollie, who she properly wished looked like Louis Tomlinson. Some people might not actually know. Ollie actually asked Katie out when they were in year 7, and again in year 9, and finally in year 11. Third time's a charm. And I can definitely say that was the best decision Katie made. All jokes aside, I've never seen two people make each other so happy, and I wish the both of you the best in your long marriage. And I'm glad to say you are both no longer my problem. So I actually got you both some gifts. So for Ollie, we all know he's quite quiet, reserved, civilised, whereas Katie, stubborn, got a fat gob sometimes. So Ollie, for you, I got you a megaphone so you can get a word in. And Katie, there's times when you're at home and you let one rip. And you try to blame someone else, but everyone knows it's you, because they're so loud. So I thought, I'd get you a giant whoopee cushion so you've got someone to blame. Sorry. No, but I wish you both the best, and I love you both.
Love you too.
To the bride and groom.
Thank you, Dan. That was incredibly kind. Right. Last speech of the day is me. So let's get rolling. Yeah. Right. I actually don't think this has been mentioned by anyone, but I just want to thank you all for coming. I think that's been mentioned, hasn't it? Thank you everyone for coming. I didn't realise this many people actually cared about these two, to be honest. But at the same time, I understand why, because they're lovely people. But let's get on with it. Before I talk about the groom, my best man, not best man, best friend. I'm the best man. My best friend Ollie. Before I talk about him, I want to quickly say something to Katie. You look beautiful, Katie, today. You are a lovely person. And I love that you're in my life and I can call you my friend. So can we all give a round of applause to Katie? Right. So, as some people have shouted out in the crowd, me and Ollie play tennis. That's actually the way we met, believe it or not. So, and to be honest, our relationship at the beginning, I wouldn't really call it friendship. To say the least, let's put it that way. Because if you had asked me, and to be honest, the groom as well, about almost a decade ago, let's say you told me I was the best man a decade ago, I probably would have laughed in your face because we were. I probably would have laughed in your face because we weren't friends back then. All right. Oh, it's back on. Hey. We were bitter rivals, we were arch enemies, okay? The only similarities we thought we had with each other at the time was just the sheer desire and determination to beat each other in the most important tennis match in our whole lives. When realistically it was just a small club in Weston with about 10 spectators, half of them being our family members, who were more concerned with our embarrassing behaviour than the actual scoreline. Where am I? Yes, back then he was a little bit better than me at tennis. Notice how I said back then. But our rivalry, I think, has really shaped me into the person that I've become today. So, yeah. The club that we play for has got this yearly league that we get involved in, where you pair up with someone, you get paired up with someone from the same club. You go out to the world of North Somerset and you play against all these different clubs to try and win this league trophy, right? And guess who the club paired me up with back when I was about 16? This man over here, Ollie. And we weren't friends still, we weren't friends yet. But it changes, it gets good, guys, it gets good. Okay. Sorry, I keep rambling and I'm losing my place. So, I don't remember what I felt at that time, because we were still a bit bitter towards each other. We still wanted to beat each other, but I was actually quite relieved to actually have him on the same side as the net as me. Besides the other side, I could actually play with him instead of against him for a change. But I quickly realised the more we played with each other, the more, you know, we were winning matches, sometimes losing matches, that we actually shared a lot in common. The desire we had, our embarrassing behaviour on court, smashing rackets and swearing and stuff, but we won't go into that. Our sense of humour, our taste in music, our fashion sense, our taste in food. I'm a vegetarian, so that's not true. How do you know if someone's a vegetarian? Because I'll tell you. Anyway. I quickly realised that I much preferred playing with him than I did against him, as I just said, and our relationship really blossomed from that moment. But we hadn't actually hung out outside of tennis yet, and this is where it gets interesting. Basically, I remember the first time we actually saw each other outside of the tennis court. I went with a few friends out to a nightclub in Weston. Not really my scene, I'm not really the biggest dancer, but I just went because I was probably lonely at that point. Yeah. same word. But went out to this nightclub and everyone was dancing. It wasn't really my thing. I was getting ready to go home, and then just as I was about to walk out the door, I locked eyes with someone from across the room. Guess who it was?
It must be.
It was Ollie! And he was so beautiful, so elegant. His dance moves just really struck a chord with me. And it was quite the moment, because we locked eyes with each other, and I saw his eyes widen up, you know, as big as tennis balls, and it was matched with my jaw that just dropped to the floor. We were like, wait a minute, it's you! And we ran to each other. It was like slow motion running to each other. We dropped our drinks at the time that we had, and we were running to each other. It was almost like a 90s rom-com. But we didn't kiss, we just hugged, we embraced. And then he offered me a drink, because he's a gentleman, and that's what he does. So he offered me a drink, and then we became friends officially, and we hung out the rest of the night, and it was one of the best nights I've ever had in my life. It then went from not just playing tennis, we were actually hanging out outside of tennis. We would meet up, go on drives, go on walks. We used to go and play pool. We still play pool. We'd go for drinks, and but the rivalry was still there. Okay, it didn't go. We still wanted to beat each other, whether it came to pool or video games or bowling. Although bowling is not really a competition, because I'm a lot better than him at bowling. I'm not that much better. But I think for anyone who knew us, especially Ollie's parents, it was crazy to see us from literally disliking each other to being best mates, and it's honestly one of the best relationships in my life right now, being best mates with him. Besides his goofiness, his sense of humour is weird. It sort of fluctuates from like childish poop jokes to like 50-year-old like dad jokes. Besides his goofiness and his weird obsession with Disneyland, he's actually an incredibly compassionate and really kind man. And he's what I really love about Ollie, and I think everyone here knows it, is that no matter what he goes into, no matter what endeavour he decides to embark in and focus on, he puts